Hi, welcome to Senior Moments, Successful Aging. I'm Mary Beals-Luedtke, your host. I'm the Area Agency on Aging Director for NACOG, and you can reach us toll-free at 877-521-3500. Senior Moments, Successful Aging is co-sponsored with Yavapai College, Division of Lifelong Learning, and the Area Agency on Aging. And our producer is Nancy Bennett, so she's the one who does all the real work. I just come and talk at you. So thank you, Nancy, for putting this together and getting us all together. She always loves to hear from you. Maybe you have suggestions about shows you'd like to see in the future or questions about today's show. You can call her at 928-717-7607. So I'd like to welcome our guest, Craig Ralston. Hi, Craig.
Good morning, Mary. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Great.
And nice to have you here, and really nice to meet you.
Yes, good to meet you.
Our first time.
It is our first time.
Yes. So, Craig, you are the Dean of Arts and Humanities and the Director of the Performing Arts Center here at Yavapai College.
I am.
And that's new, is it not?
It is new, yes. I arrived in Arizona about a year ago from 16 years in Florida teaching, and I was a chair of a music department down there. And I'm just loving it. This is such a wonderful community, Mary. I know you know that after being here for quite a while.
Yeah.
But such a supportive community for the arts, music, our art program. People are so invested in what we do. And so it's a delight to be here, honestly. I think it's the most unusual community in the sense of the support that I've ever seen. And of course, we have that wonderful Performing Arts Center.
And there's a little accent there. Where does that come from?
I was born in what was Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe.
I heard it.
Yes. So I've been in the States 30 years, but I still have a little bit of that British influence. So I grew up in Africa as a white boy in Africa.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So in the community that you came from in Florida, was it small or large?
The Tampa Bay area has 3 million people.
Oh my gosh.
So to go from 3 million people to about 40,000 in Prescott is a great change, I think. I just love how this is really a community. Florida happens to be, so spread out, and there's not real central community centers. You feel like you're disconnected, whereas in Prescott, it is a big community. It's a big family.
It is a big family. And so did this job bring you here?
It did, Mary. The college I was in had experienced some financial issues when 2008 hit. And education started turning, and especially for the arts. Parents were saying to their students, do you want to major in the arts? I mean, are you going to get a job? The finances weren't flowing anymore, and so we saw a real downturn in enrollment in the arts. And what happened in the college I was teaching in, a private college, finances shifted, and after 3-4 years, our arts program went away. So it was very difficult, and at that time I thought, well, I have to move on. I'd been a chair for 15 years and thought, let's move into administration. So I started looking at dean positions, and my mother and my sister had lived in Sedona, so I knew this area.
Oh, okay.
And the Yavapai college position came open, and I applied and thought this would be my dream job, and here I am.
And here you are.
I am here.
And we're lucky to have you, because I want to get a little bit more into the background that you've done in your professional career.
Sure.
You mentioned 28 years of teaching and administration, but
Correct.
It sounds like a lot of your work has been done around piano.
It has. I started piano when I was about 8 and just loved it, had a natural ability for it. Didn't think I was going to pursue it. I went to college and I was an accounting major. And finally realized I did not want to sit behind a desk doing numbers. I really didn't. And so I changed my major and did a bachelor's in music ed and then a master's in piano, and then changed and did a composition theory doctorate. So I've kind of done a lot of everything. I like to compose and teach and perform, conduct. I do a little bit of everything, and it's really my passion, and I just love what I do.
And you must be very talented, because conducting is very difficult. I had a hard time in conducting class myself, because you have to memorize. People don't realize you have to know every piece of that music in your head.
That's right.
And you have to be able to hear everything, and I so admire that. And back to your accounting degree, accounting and music. Math and music has
There's a really big correlation.
Big correlation.
Yes.
Well, I'm really excited that now, Yavapai College is now expanding with a new performing arts degree. So
That's
I want to hear
correct.
more about that.
And I know you're interested in it, since you spent quite a few years performing yourself.
Yes.
We were looking at our program and saying, for our community, how can we move? We have a music program, we have an art program, we had some theater classes, a couple dance classes that kind of went away. how can we move our program forward? And so community members really, in the first couple of months I was here, started coming to me and saying, we love performing arts. Can we have more theater? Can we have dance? Can we bring in musicals? You know, we have our touring groups that come in with musicals for the pack, but we're the homegrown musicals where our students and our community members can just jump in. And of course we have local organizations that do great work on that in that field, but we hadn't done anything really at the college. And so I put together some curriculum, and we approved an AAFA degree, a 2-year degree in performing arts. And so it's a track where there's musical theater, music, and dance classes all put together. And so we're thrilled, and there was a lot of excitement amongst the high school students, the community members. Our classes are full this fall in musical theater. And our big thing, which October 22nd through 25th, our first major production, The Secret Garden, the musical, is going to be performed. And we have a great, great cast. The talent is just amazing for this community. I mean, I have never seen such a talented cast. And so we're going to be performing in just a couple weeks with our first major production.
That is very exciting. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Because I know what it takes to put that together.
You do.
I know what it takes to put that together.
It's a lot of work.
And so we're going to have a pit orchestra?
Yes, we are.
Nice.
We're going to have a pit orchestra. We have a costumer who's designed all the costumes. Our set's going to be amazing. So I'm really thrilled. You know, I pushed the cast really hard to really, you know, my goal is this is as good as Arizona Broadway down in Phoenix or Broadway itself, in the sense of the professionalism, you know, the quality of what we produce, and the cast has really risen to the challenge. They've just been phenomenal.
How fun. I'm sure they're hungry for this, though.
Well, they are. You know, I think when you, as you know, when you set a high standard, people will rise to that.
Yes.
When they see there's a challenge and you encourage them and give them those tools and, yes, demand at the end of the day, this is where we're going. And my cast they have really stepped up. So it's been a phenomenal experience.
How exciting. So this is your first year for this degree program?
Correct. This fall we just started it.
Okay.
Yeah,
so in 2 years you're going to have your first graduates, or 2.5 or 3, depending how fast they go.
Exactly.
So, and to have that ability to do that right here in Prescott, and you know, and I think that is something that's so unique about this area. And I call it the Quad City. I live in Dewey, but all of us in this area, you know, we are all fortunate to have Yavapai College, because when I compare it to other small towns, you know, I travel the country a lot in my business with aging. They don't have the kinds of opportunities that we do here, and to add this is just huge. And also the enjoyment we're going to get out of it from the community, because we can go. So if I wanted to get a ticket for that, how do I just go on the website?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just go on the www.ycpac. And on the Performing Arts Center website, you can get tickets for Secret Garden. But I'll make sure you get some.
Oh, nice. So you do have a little brochure on the Performing Arts program. People have questions about the arts program itself.
Yes.
And what's needed for that.
Exactly.
And what the criteria is.
Yes.
Can you just start out basically at the beginning? You don't have to have any prerequisites?
No, you really don't. You know, as you know, in the arts, the foundation of your training will be some theory classes, you know, vocal training, the acting 101. In other words, we really try to get them grounded. Of course, we're still aggressive. My mentality in education has always been, I'm teaching for graduate school, and I know we're just doing a 2-year degree here, but honestly, we can have a product where students from around this district and this state will come here first. That's my goal, is to build this program where people say, you know, Yavapai College has that first 2 years degree that's so quality that we want to go there first rather than go to the universities. And I know we can build that. We can really build a program to where people come. Let me tell you a quick story. It was really interesting. We were down in Phoenix at SAS Fabrics buying all the material for the costumes for Secret Garden. And we were talking about the show, and this mother behind us said, oh, I'm sorry, are you talking about musicals? And we said, yeah, we are. Where? I said, well, we have a new program at Yavapai College in Prescott. And the whole conversation was, if she'd known, and of course it was only this fall that we've introduced the program, if she'd known, say, 2 years ago, she would have sent her son up to us rather than go to Mesa. And so, in other words, once we get our word out there and start really beyond even our district promoting our program, I think we're going to be a real draw for the arts in the future.
That is very exciting, and how
It
enriching
is.
that's going to be for our community, bringing these
Absolutely.
students, getting them out of the hot valley, showing how beautiful northern Arizona is.
Exactly.
That is very exciting. Well, tell us a little bit about Secret Garden. What's the musical about?
When people hear the title, Mary, they sometimes say, oh, well, that's just a kid's show. You know, it is children's literature. But they were very clever in how they constructed the story. What they did is to bring back the characters that had actually passed away. And so the characters that in the book are dead and they're not really mentioned are actually part of the cast because they live in people's minds. And so it's a wonderful show of change, of how you can go through extremely difficult circumstances and have severe loss in your life, but that at the end of it, transformation can happen. And so there's this one song that's pivotal in the second act. It's called Wick. And Wick in British culture means, if the plant is wick, it means it's dead on the outside, it's green inside. And so the whole thing is about really from darkness to light, about how we can, in our difficult circumstances, still find that happiness and joy through a transformational period. And so that's what the musical's all about. Lucy Simon wrote the score. And honestly, I saw it in '92 on Broadway when Mandy Patinkin was starring in it. And it was just one of the most stunning musicals I had ever seen. And the score really is, there's some of the best, most memorable songs in the score. And so it's a really, it's a treat. It really is. So, you know, I hope people don't see Secret Garden, oh, it's a kid's story. The essence is that there's much deeper meaning, and the music is just delightful.
So, and the predominantly your cast is from the students?
We have a mixture, which this is what I love about Prescott, is we have such a mixture in our productions. It's not just, you know, the traditional 18 to 21-year-olds. So really a third of my cast is our community members, a third is from our student base, the traditional student base, and then a third is children and teens from the high school and elementary schools. So we have this just huge spectrum of talent, which I think, you know, really exposes Prescott to here we are, all of us, not just, oh, it's just the college kids are producing this. No, we have professionals, as in Arlene Hardy and Phil Dixon and Mike Nache, talent that do a lot of performing in Prescott. They're part of the cast, and then we have our students, our traditional students at Yavapai College, and then these teens and younger kids, which it's just been an amazing journey to work with all of them.
I cannot wait to see this production.
You'll love
I cannot
it.
wait.
You'll love it.
So, you know, and that also kind of rolls us into the you call it the YC PAC.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. But what does that stand for? Because not all of us know what that means.
Right, the Yavapai Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
Right, the Performing Arts Center was built about 26 years ago, and the folks at the time that built it were really ambitious. 1,100 seats in a community this size is quite ambitious, but it is a wonderful center, and yes, we can fill it as we gain support and gain donors and gain people who really are behind the arts. But it's an incredible facility.
Yes,
I've never seen such a wonderful stage, the backstage. I mean, it's professional. It's professional theater. And
The sounds, the lights.
Yes.
I have sang on it before.
Oh,
so
you have?
Yes, I have.
Good for you.
So it is lovely.
Good for
and
you.
I remember the first time when they built it. I've been here a long time. It was like, wow, I can't believe we have this here.
True. It's really the centerpiece, what I say, the centerpiece for the arts in Yavapai County.
Yes, it is.
It really is. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful venue.
So as part of your job then, are you part of who brings the acts in now?
I am.
Fun.
So I just came on board this summer with the PAC. And so part of my duties are to recruit, to meet agents, to book shows. It has been. So I was in Vancouver a couple weeks ago at the Western Arts Alliance booking shows for 16-17, meeting the agents, seeing what the new acts would be, seeing, you know, we want some of the standards, the greats, booking them as well. So yeah, that's been a great adventure to see what talent is out there, because so often, you know, we know the big names, but there's so many other names, so many other wonderful artists that are not as expensive, but just doing great work.
Well, and quite honestly, too, I'm thinking of music in particular. A lot of times, people that aren't in mainstream are often, in my opinion, better because they're not all produced and they're not picking up, and they're not that commodity that they become.
Yes.
I'm not saying that the ones that are in mainstream aren't good. There's some amazing talent, but it's really fun to hear some folks that are a little off. That you don't hear them every day on the radio. You don't hear, and you see that talent, and you're blown away. It's like the first time you go to Broadway, and realize every single person has more talent in their little finger than you do, and they're doing a bit part.
Yeah, exactly.
So how exciting to bring those some of those acts to us.
Yeah, it is, and I'd love to just give you the quick rundown.
Please, I would like to hear.
We still have a few more acts that we're waiting to get confirmed. There's always a process of offering a contract and then responding. So some of our contracts haven't come back, but the ones we have confirmed, we have Josh Turner, December 10th. Country artist, a younger guy in his 30s that's very, very popular right now. In fact, when we opened our ticketing last week, we had people sitting in lawn chairs outside of the box office, and we were like, what are you doing here? And they're like, we're waiting for Josh Turner tickets. So
You've gone big time now.
So we were excited. There was a great response. And then a local group, he actually lives in Jerome, of all places, but a local group called Pucifer. They have a wonderful following here in the West, and so they are very popular. Same thing, they usually sell out within 20 minutes. It is more of an alternative rock group, and they do a lot of multi-image. It's more theatrical in nature of a performance, so that should be really interesting. That's December 14th. And then one that I know a lot of people are responding to, December 19th, is the Texas Tenors. They're coming in, and they were on America's Got Talent a few years back, so they made a big name for themselves. So they do, the traditional opera, like doing O Sole Mio as a trio, the Pavarotti, Domingo, Carreras kind of act. So they'll do, they do some serious, then they do some country, then they'll do some Christmas. So it's really going to be a great show. So that's on December 19th, which we're looking forward to. My big thing, Mary, is also to make sure that the PAC is educational. Yavapai College exists as an educational institution. And so while we do bring in these big acts, I'm always looking for how can we enhance the educational process as well. And so what I'm thrilled about, February 6th, the Phoenix Boys Choir is coming in. They've been going for about 40 years. And, music education, as you know, because it's near and dear to your heart and your family, is so important, and to see in our school system the decline of funding for the arts, the decline of any music being taught is a shame, because what's the future of the arts if we're not training up these children to enter the performing realm? And so the Phoenix Boy Choir, I'm thrilled to have them. We're going to be hosting them on February 6th. But to see their work and the quality of the choral education, and here, right in Arizona, we have a group that is really on the international stage, competing with Vienna Boys Choir. And so I'm thrilled. I love to see groups that are, first of all, local, and then also educationally based. So we're thrilled to have them. February 28th, if you haven't seen Brian Reagan, he's a comedian. He is a hoot. If you just Google him on, do YouTube, get some of his clips, he's great. He's family friendly, which means he doesn't get too racy with his comedy. Very clean, and he's a family man and just hilarious.
Fun.
So he is, my kids are dying to see him. When I told them he was coming here and I might be able to take them backstage and meet Brian, they were just like bowled over. So he's going to be incredible. February 28th, Brian Reagan. Celtic is always popular here in Prescott. Anytime we put on a Celtic or Irish or that sort of flavor show, we have a huge response. And so the Women of Ireland are coming March 21st, which will be a great show of dance, Celtic music, and song. So there'll be a whole blend of the disciplines. It says Women of Ireland, but we do have a couple guys that are well-known dancers coming with them too. So that should be great, March 21st. And then a young artist. He looks way too young to me.
We were just talking about that.
We were. Is he out of college? He's a young guy. Jake Shimabukuro.
Very well done. Shimabukuro.
Yeah, something like that. Jake is Hawaiian. He's a young guy who has taken the ukulele, which was actually a Portuguese instrument that came across somehow and ended up in the Hawaiian Islands.
Right.
And so it's a blend of cultures. And with the ukulele, his music is just fascinating. It really is just very catchy. And he is sold out wherever he goes. So we're thrilled to bring him here because he's a young artist. He's bringing in a fresh sound with the ukulele, because we don't often think, oh, I want to go to a ukulele performance.
No.
You know, that's not number one on our agenda. But when you hear Jake's music, it is just so alive and fresh. That's going to be a great performance, April 6th. And then May 14th, we just confirmed Alton Brown live. And he is a best-selling author, TV host, and does all kinds of amazing things, and with food as well. He's also a cook. So it's kind of a variety, very alive, fun show. So look into Alton Brown May 14th. So that's our lineup so far. And then we also have, our music department is very aggressive. We have about 12 concerts per semester. And so we do some here, we do some in the Verde Valley and Sedona as well. But our music department has instrumental concerts, vocal concerts. We now have I have to tell you, we have a brand new group, speaking of education. Arlene Hardy came to me with Amy Van Winkle, who's been a music educator in the area for about 30 years, and said, we'd love to start our own pre-college choral program. And I said, I am behind this because I believe in education. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you want to do. And they, like with the Phoenix Boys Choir, we're starting it as a girls' choir initially. We have 2 girls' choirs. We just started in August. Nice. We have about 40 young ladies that we're training to be quality singers. And honestly, like Vienna Boys Choir, as Texas Boy, the Arizona Boys Choir, we want the Yavapai youth choirs to have that same quality, the same kind of training, and again, to start touring with them, to take them to competitions. So Arlene and Amy are just doing an incredible job. So we have their first concert December the 12th. And so we're thrilled to have now a pre-college choral program that really will enhance the educational process here in the county.
So when you're in the program, I remember when I went back when I was in school, so we had to do what we called master class performing.
Yes.
So you're using putting those so that the public can come in and see the students perform.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Yes.
And that's such great experience for them.
It is.
For the students.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not the same when you're doing master class in front of your peers. It's
Correct.
better to have an audience.
Right.
How exciting. And you have even more things that you're working on, because something came up about Italy. I want to go to Italy.
Yes, you need to. You really do.
Oh.
Yes. Part of what I've done in the last years is to take groups overseas. Part of it was I've taken 6 groups to China. And taking students out of their comfort zone is something I love to do, to show them the world, nice. to let them experience what life can be like beyond, texting and McDonald's and YouTube. There's a whole different world out there. And so, Mary, I've really had a vision for how to expand people's experiences educationally. And so the 6 trips to China were just mind-blowing. I had students that went back and taught there for years and really just engaged themselves in being overseas. And then I've taken about 6 trips to Europe, a couple to South Africa, Argentina, so I've been all over the place with groups. Italy is really special because there is so much there for the arts. I mean, that's where music and art not necessarily were born, but developed to their heights. Mm-hmm. And so I've taken three of my trips have been to Italy, and I love going there to show people and to teach people about what happened and just the wealth that you can experience besides the amazing sights and gelato. Gotta have gelato 3 times a day.
And all the food, from what
all
I understand. But
Absolutely.
all the arts in Italy, I mean, I can't imagine. So you're going to do a tour, a tapestry tour of Italy.
A tapestry tour, so September 19th through October 3rd of 2016.
Oh, next year.
Next year,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're going to be taking a tour through adventures. And Brandy Andres, who is my art history professor, will go with me. And so we're offering a kind of an educational component to the tour where we'll have some classes before we go. And then on the tour, of course, we'll have a tour director in that is European. guiding us through the whole tour, but we're going to offer just extra things along the way that will just enhance the trip and enhance the educational value. So it's not just, we're sitting there looking at these amazing things. We'll have a different slant, or I'll offer an opera or a dinner theater where we'll hear some opera, things like that. Just some different things that you wouldn't normally get on just, okay, let's go and see the sights. And so we're really excited to be taking this tour, and we've had a great response so far.
And Adventures is, been part of Yavapai College,
Correct.
So that's open to whoever wants to go. Isn't that correct?
Whoever wants to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's very exciting.
It is.
So that if you want to go to Adventures, you can also, everything can be found on the Yavapai College
Correct.
website.
Yes.
And we are so lucky. My mother would say, "Aren't I lucky? Aren't we lucky to have this here and have you here? Welcome to our community." Sorry, it's been a year to have me say that we haven't crossed paths yet.
Not at all.
So we're looking forward to the program, and if anybody has any questions, please get on Yavapai College website.
Absolutely.
Craig Ralston, the man in charge, or you can call Nancy Bennett at 717-7607. And I want to thank you very much. It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mary.
We will talk again.
Yes,
I have no doubt.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today on Senior Moment, Successful Aging. And don't forget, if you have any questions about long-term supports or services or anything to do with aging and successful aging, healthy living, please give us a call toll-free at 877-521-3500. Until next time.